Hey guys, how's it going? Today is October 4th, 2019. In this video, we're going to look at a news story, a very strange one, about a man from Norway who flew to Florida to visit his father-in-law to surprise him for his birthday. The surprise went so well, however, that he scared his father-in-law enough that he got shot and was thus killed with one bullet. Now, in my videos, I talk about how the mainstream media, or as I like to call it, the fake stream media, often publishes fake news articles about incidents that didn't even happen. And it's my contention that this is exactly one of those cases. Now, in my videos, I talk about the language of Gematria, which is the key component of numerology that really unlocks the riddles that the mainstream media is using to publish these stories. We have the alphabetic order, each letter numbered 1 through 26. The reduction methods using the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. And when you pay attention to these ciphers, dates on the calendar, you indeed realize that something very strange is going on. And again, it's my contention that a story like this didn't even happen. Because this mainstream media, they're not just here to spin the stories or tell us what to think about, but they are outright deceiving us. And it's an act of outright evil that does need to be called out. So again, this evil act doesn't happen randomly. They structure these stories by the numbers. And we'll look at all of the numbers in this story as well as the gematria and explain to you exactly why it's constructed in such a way. Now, in the New Testament, the story of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ occurs during the Gospels. And in 3 of the 4 of the Gospels, darkness falls over the sky during the crucifixion. Now, some people believe this was a solar eclipse, but the symbolism exists either way. The phrase total solar eclipse has gematria of 104 in the reverse reduction method. This story, although the murder occurred on October 1st, wasn't published until October 4th, today's date, written 10/4. And the name of the man who died in this story, his name is Chris Bergen. And in the alphabetic order, the name Chris Bergen sums to 104. However, reading this story reveals that the murder actually happened on Tuesday. That means Tuesday was the date October 1st, written 10:01. And in this story, we had Richard Dennis murdering a man named Christopher Bergen. And in Jewish gematria, this sums to 1001, just like the date 10:01. This cipher, based in the Latin alphabetic order, places the more modern English characters at the end, and the larger numbers come from the ancient Hebrew gematria charts, which this actually mirrors. So you add the names of the two people in the story, and you get the date on which the story occurred. So the man's name is Chris, which sums to 33 in reverse reduction. And, of course, many people believe that Christ was crucified at age 33. And I know in Lutheran school we were taught that the crucifixion was on April 3rd. And, yeah, Christ... Well, we'll get to the number 93 in a minute. So the name Chris equals 33, and this man flew in from Norway. Norway also sums to 33 in reduction. The date that this story was published, October 4th, had standard numerology of 33. In numerology, we're always looking at prime numbers. And the 33rd prime number is 137. Well, if you use prime numbers, the last name Bergen equals 137. And if you measure from Norway's Independence Day, which is May 17th, to the date of the murder, it was 137 days later. The word Norwegian sums to 137 in reverse. The phrase crucifixion of Jesus Christ sums to 303 in the alphabetic order. And again, it's believed that he was 33 when he was crucified. Crucifixion darkness signifying an eclipse, which equals 33. Now, the state of Florida became a state on the date 3/3. And if you measure from that date to the date of this killing, you'll see it was a span of 30 weeks and 3 days. Now, the crucifixion, as the Catholic Church teaches it, and again, like I was in Lutheran school, that it happened on the 93rd day of the year, or April 3rd. Think about how April 3rd is written 4/3, Jesus Christ equals 43. But we're told that the crucifixion also happened between 9 and 3 on the clock. 93, a very significant number to Christianity. The New Testament, which begins with the story of Jesus, begins with the 930th chapter of the Bible. Of course, the sun is 93 million miles away. God's son equals 93. Crucifix equals 93. Jesus was from Nazareth, 93. And the name of the victim in this story, Christopher Bergen, equals 93 in reverse reduction. In fact, with capital letters, the Frank Baconus cipher, first of all, Christopher Bergen equals 370, which is his age, 37, as we're told in this story. But the name Bergen on its own also sums to 93. All right, moving on. If you measure from this year's one and only total solar eclipse, and you can go to the eclipse database and look for yourself, July 2nd was the date of the only total solar eclipse this year. This killing happened a span of 13 weeks and 1 day later. And the word crucifixion equals 131. And this riddle continues with the name of the victim, or I'm sorry, the name of the shooter. His name was Richard Dennis. They said he's 61 years old. The name Richard equals 61. This is also the gematria of Jesus in reverse. Now, in ordinal, Jesus equals 74. And like I said, prime numbers are very significant. The name Richard Dennis in Jewish gematria equals 373, which is the 74th prime number. All right, so a little bit more about the numerology in relation to eclipses, because I assure you, the media is using the dates that solar eclipses occur. And again, I'm very consistent in my work. I only really look at total solar eclipses. Those by far are the most significant types, and they only occur about 7 times a decade. Occasionally, you'll see something related to a lunar eclipse, but the numerology is much more obvious. Here, we're looking at a very clear crucifixion riddle. So, of course, solar eclipses are the most important. So if you measure, again, from the date of this year's total solar eclipse to the date of the murder, you get 91 days. If you instead measure to the next total solar eclipse, which falls on December 14th of next year, you get 440 days. And perhaps this is why the story is about a surprise, which has gematria of both 91 and 44 in the base methods. If you include the end date, this is also 63 weeks. Father-in-law equals 63 in reverse. Adding the names of the two people in the story also gives you 174, like how it happened 1 year, 74 days before next year's eclipse. Also notice father-in-law in reverse summing to 180. CNN, perfectly aware of this code of gematria, coding relevant numbers into their headlines, and here we get a value of 1080 in a story about a father-in-law. This 432 also significant. If you add 432 to its inverse, 2, 3, 4, you get 666. And if you add 6 plus 6 plus 6, you get 18, just like the headline in ordinal. And perhaps even a deeper riddle here. In reverse, you get 1431, the 53rd triangular number. And look at the date that the story was published, had primary numerology of 53. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. I feel like they're pulling our legs here. I really do. And this is the exact type of story that the media would fake. Another story about death, making people sad, keeping them in a low vibrational state. And again, I always remind people of the scientific studies that have been done. Remind someone of their mortality and then instantly give them a financial decision, and they'll always make the wrong one. That's just what they do. Because that's what this is all about, keeping people in a cycle of fear, confusion, and little things like this. Just a story that someone, is going to read briefly and glance at, probably not even look at the story, but that's the intent, to keep you thinking negatively. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, as this content is censored. Openly censored, in fact. They don't want you to understand this code because they don't want you to understand what this world really is, which is actually a pretty beautiful place. All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya!